Months have passed since little Gus disappeared from that remote stretch of land, and still, there's no clear answer. No sound, no trace, no sign of where he could have gone. Only a mystery that seems to deepen with time. Search teams have come and gone. Drones have flown over every inch of dirt, and yet the question remains, what really happened to Gus Lamont? Some say he simply wandered off, others believe something far more complicated took place. Over time, people have developed theories, 5 main possibilities that many think could hold the truth behind this strange disappearance. In this video, we're going to look at those theories one by one, not to point fingers, but to understand what might have led to that heartbreaking moment when Gus vanished. Each theory has its own story, its own weight, and its own set of questions that still haven't been answered. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you care about uncovering the truth behind real-life mysteries. And in the comments, tell us what you think. Which theory feels closest to the truth, and where are you watching from? The first and perhaps simplest theory is the wander-off theory, the idea that Gus may have strayed away from the house on his own. According to reports, the area where he disappeared is wide, dry, and uneven, the kind of land where a small child could easily lose their sense of direction within minutes. There are open paddocks, small hills, fences, and patches of thick scrub that could hide almost anything. Supporters of this theory believe that Gus, being curious like most children his age, might have followed something that caught his attention. Maybe an animal, a sound, or even just the open space that surrounded the property. If that was the case, he could have quickly wandered beyond sight before anyone realized he was missing. Search experts have pointed out that children often move in unpredictable patterns when they're lost, sometimes circling back close to home, other times walking in straight lines for kilometers. In terrain as harsh as the South Australian outback, even a short distance can become life-threatening, especially after sunset when temperatures drop dramatically. But there's one thing that makes people doubt this theory. Despite the huge land, air, and water searches that followed, not a single solid clue was ever found. No piece of clothing, no footprints confirmed to be his, no trace at all. It's a theory that makes sense on the surface, but the lack of physical evidence keeps everyone wondering, if Gus did wander off, where did the trail disappear? The second theory that has surfaced is the animal encounter theory. The belief that Gus might have come across a wild animal while exploring near the property. The Australian outback is home to many creatures, from snakes and dingoes to wild goats and kangaroos. Most are harmless, but some encounters can be unpredictable, especially involving a small child alone. Those who support this theory point out that the region where Gus went missing is remote, with plenty of open paddocks and thick bushland where wildlife roams freely. It's possible he could have been startled by an animal and run off in fear, or, in a worse scenario, been injured during the encounter. However, search teams found no signs of distress, no torn clothing, blood traces, or animal tracks linked to the boy. Dingo sightings in that region are rare, and experts said there was no evidence of aggressive wildlife activity at that time. So while this theory can't be entirely dismissed, the absence of any signs and the sheer thoroughness of the search makes it one of the least supported explanations. Still, it leaves a chilling question. If it wasn't an animal, and he didn't just walk away, then what really happened in those few minutes he vanished? Now we move into one of the most controversial and emotionally charged possibilities, the foul play theory. This theory doesn't sit well with everyone, but it continues to surface whenever a missing person case stretches on with no trace or explanation. Many people simply find it hard to believe that a young child could disappear completely without leaving behind clear evidence of where he went or what happened. The idea behind this theory is simple but unsettling, that someone may have had a direct or indirect role in Gus's disappearance. Some believe the remote location of the family's property makes the likelihood of a random abduction extremely low. But others point out that even in the most isolated regions, unexpected visitors can appear. Travelers, truck drivers, or workers passing through. It's not impossible that someone unfamiliar could have entered the area unnoticed. Still, the police have repeatedly ruled out the presence of any suspicious vehicles or unknown individuals near the property around the time Gus went missing. Every search of nearby roads, airstrips, and access routes turned up nothing out of place. Then there's another angle, one that has stirred uncomfortable speculation online. Some have questioned whether the answer could lie closer to home. These claims, however, are purely speculative and have no factual foundation. Authorities have stated clearly that the family has been cooperative from the beginning, providing full access to their property, vehicles, and records. In fact, Task Force Horizon, the police team handling the case, continues to treat this as a mystery without evidence of foul play. No traces of struggle, no suspicious items, and no witnesses have suggested criminal involvement. And yet, the idea persists. Why? Because when every logical explanation seems to vanish, the human mind searches for something, anything, that makes sense. The lack of closure fuels theories, and the absence of proof becomes its own mystery. Whether foul play was ever involved remains purely speculative, but the possibility lingers in the background, not because of evidence, but because of the sheer emptiness of answers. Another possibility that has been discussed by both investigators and experienced trackers is the disoriented wander theory, the idea that Gus may have simply become confused, lost, and wandered far from where he was last seen. This theory leans on what we know about children's behavior in unfamiliar environments. A 4-year-old can cover surprising distances in a short amount of time, especially when curious or distracted, but they also tire quickly, often changing direction without purpose. When this happens in open, rugged country like South Australia's outback, a child can easily disappear from sight within minutes. The terrain around Oak Park Station is vast, dry, and uneven. It's made up of rocky ridges, dense patches of scrub, and wide stretches of open ground. Even trained searchers have said it's easy to become disoriented out there, especially for a child. The theory suggests that Gus may have followed something that caught his attention, maybe an animal, a sound, or just curiosity pulling him toward the horizon, and then lost his sense of direction. But there's one major question. How could he have vanished without leaving a trace? Search teams, including police, volunteers, and the military, scoured the area for days using helicopters, drones, tracking dogs, and thermal imaging. They found almost nothing. Only one small footprint, found several hundred meters from the homestead, hinted at movement, but even that was uncertain. Experts have pointed out that the local landscape can erase signs quickly. Wind shifts the sand, livestock trample tracks, and the elements change the ground overnight. It's possible that evidence of his path simply faded before teams could reach it. The disoriented wander theory remains one of the most logical, yet heartbreaking, possibilities. It offers a scenario that doesn't involve malice or mystery, only the tragic reality of how quickly isolation and nature can turn dangerous. In this theory, there's no villain, only distance, time, and the unforgiving landscape that hides more than it reveals. The next theory takes a closer look at the environment itself, the dangerous conditions surrounding the property that could have posed a fatal threat to little Gus. The Lamont family's property lies in one of South Australia's most unforgiving regions, an area marked by extreme temperatures, unpredictable terrain, and hidden hazards. During the day, the heat can be punishing. At night, the temperature drops sharply, often to levels that are unsafe for a child in light clothing. The environmental hazard theory suggests that Gus may have encountered one of these dangers: dehydration, exposure, or a fall, not far from home. There are countless areas where someone small could be obscured by brush, rock formations, or tall grass. Some searchers even pointed out the number of old wells, animal burrows, and erosion gullies in the area, places where a body could easily be hidden from sight. Then there's the water danger. The family's dam was drained completely in hopes of finding answers. But even after removing more than 3 million liters of water, police found no sign of Gus. That ruled out the dam, but it raised new questions. If not there, then where? Investigators and locals alike noted that the property had several smaller catchments, tanks, and creeks scattered across the land. Some deep, some overgrown. Despite the massive search operation, it's impossible to cover every inch of a 60,000-hectare station. The environment out there doesn't forgive mistakes. Within hours, a wandering child could be overtaken by exhaustion, disoriented by distance, or hidden from sight in the natural folds of the land. This theory, while grim, is supported by professionals who've studied similar disappearances. The wilderness doesn't always tell its stories. Sometimes it just swallows them whole. The hardest part about the environmental hazard theory is that it feels painfully possible. It's not about human error or foul play. It's about how vastness itself can become the biggest enemy in the search for truth. Now, this next theory is the one that makes people most uncomfortable: the possibility of foul play. While police have publicly stated that there's no evidence of criminal involvement, some observers still question whether everything adds up. The reasoning behind this theory isn't built on proof, but on the gaps, the timeframes, the inconsistencies, and the lack of trace evidence that make the disappearance so baffling. For many, the biggest question is simple: how can a child just vanish without a single clear sign? No conclusive footprints, no clothing, no scent trails strong enough for dogs to follow, nothing. In cases like this, people often begin to suspect that someone might have intervened. Some theories suggest an accidental death that may have been covered up out of panic or fear of blame. Others speculate about a stranger's involvement, though that seems unlikely given how isolated the property is, miles from any main road or passing traffic. Yet, even with those odds, it's not impossible. Australia has seen rare cases where isolated abductions have occurred. Though such incidents are exceptional and usually leave at least some trace of activity, tire marks, foreign prints, or witness accounts. None of those have been found here. Still, the public's imagination continues to turn this theory over. The lack of closure breeds suspicion, especially when official updates slow down. People begin to fill the silence with their own ideas that, even without evidence, gain momentum online. But here's the truth: foul play remains a possibility only in the absence of clarity. Until there's a discovery that explains otherwise, no theory can be completely ruled out. In the end, this theory feeds on uncertainty, on the invisible cracks in a story that's already hard to understand. And perhaps that's what makes it both haunting and dangerous. It asks questions that no one yet has the answers to. Among all the theories surrounding Gus Lamont's disappearance, this one is seen by investigators as the most likely: that Gus simply wandered off on his own and became lost in the vast outback. Picture it: a curious 4-year-old playing outside on a warm afternoon, surrounded by open land stretching for miles. It takes only a few moments of distraction, a noise, an animal, something that catches the eye, and a child can wander far enough to lose sight of home. Out there, every direction looks the same. It's easy to get turned around. Police and experts have stated multiple times that this is the scenario they believe best fits the evidence. There were no signs of forced entry, no strange vehicles reported nearby, and no sounds or disturbances that pointed toward an abduction. What's tragic about this theory is how quickly the situation could have become dire. The outback is unforgiving: daytime heat, cold nights, and rough terrain. For a small child without water or proper clothing, the chances of survival drop dramatically after just a few days. Despite weeks of ground and air searches, there was no confirmed trace of Gus, just one possible footprint that couldn't be definitively linked to him. That uncertainty makes it hard to close the case emotionally, even if logically, this theory fits what's known. Locals who know the area say it's easy to walk a short distance and disappear into the bush, especially for someone small enough to pass through narrow tracks and shrubs unnoticed. The land is vast, uneven, and full of dry creek beds, places where even trained search teams could easily miss something. So, while it may be painful to accept, this theory is seen not as neglect or mystery, but as a tragic accident of time and place. Sometimes the land itself swallows its secrets, quietly, without intent, and without leaving a single clue behind. Another theory that has gained quiet traction is what many call the family pressure theory. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about understanding what happens when tragedy strikes a tight-knit rural family under an intense national spotlight. From the very beginning, the family was thrown into chaos. Endless police questions, reporters outside the gate, cameras watching every move. And while the public searched for answers, the people at the center of it all were just trying to survive the emotional storm. Living under that level of pressure can do strange things to people. Some experts believe that the family's silence, sudden mood shifts, or even moments of anger toward the media weren't signs of guilt, but of deep trauma. When every gesture, every word is analyzed, people start to retreat. The human mind doesn't process grief and fear logically. When someone disappears, especially a child, guilt can spread like wildfire, even if no one did anything wrong. Parents and grandparents start asking, "What if I looked away too long?" Or "What if I did something differently?" That kind of thinking eats away at peace of mind. On the other hand, some outside observers, especially online commentators, have twisted these emotional reactions into suspicion. The lack of public statements, the visible frustration with reporters, even tears or anger, everything has been interpreted through the harsh lens of social media. But we have to remember, not everyone processes pain the same way. Some people cry publicly, others shut down, and sometimes silence is not secrecy, it's survival. The family pressure theory isn't about scandal, it's about humanity. It reminds us that behind every headline are real people trying to hold their world together while the world keeps asking questions they can't answer. Whether or not this theory explains anything about Gus's disappearance, it does shed light on why so many families in cases like this grow distant and guarded. They're not just grieving, they're fighting to protect whatever pieces of normal life they have left. And now we reach the most difficult part, the unanswered questions. After all the theories, all the searches, and all the emotional storms, one thing remains painfully clear. No one truly knows what happened to little Gus Lamont. How does a child vanish in a familiar place, in broad daylight, surrounded by people who love him, and leave behind almost no trace? No struggle, no noise, not even a clear set of footprints. Just silence. The dam was drained. The land searched for days. Drones, dogs, aircraft, and experienced trackers combed through every patch of the station. Yet the mystery remains as deep as ever. Was it truly a tragic accident? One that nature has hidden beyond reach? Or could there be something far more complicated behind this, something no one has been able to see yet? The hardest part is the not knowing, because when there are no answers, theories take their place. And those theories, no matter how wild or grounded they are, become the only thing people can hold on to. But what if the truth is far simpler than all of them, or far more disturbing? What if, somewhere out there, there's a piece of evidence still buried, unseen, waiting for time to uncover it? Until that happens, the story of Gus Lamont will remain open, not just as a case, but as a haunting reminder of how quickly life can change, and how fragile the line is between safety and mystery. And that's what keeps this story alive, not the speculation, but the hope. Because no matter how much time passes, that people still want to believe that somehow, some way, there's an ending to this story that makes sense. If you followed this far, thank you for watching. What do you think really happened that day? Was it a tragic accident, a hidden truth, or something we still can't explain? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because this story isn't over, and we'll keep following it until the truth comes to light.